If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
This is exactly what Terence Crawford did when he came face-to-face with Gervonta Davis at their latest press conference, building hype for their potential showdown this July. The push was so strong that the table completely broke. People at the press conference couldn't believe what just happened. Nobody expected Crawford to actually follow through with his words. In that moment, he did what no other boxer had done before. The undefeated fighter went face first onto the table. Many people believe that Bud Crawford has no chance of beating Tank Davis. But Crawford doesn't see it that way. Davis is not even a real champion. He thinks Tank has only been lucky because he hasn't faced a fighter who can truly test him. Tank has been avoiding real challenges. And for Bud, Davis picks his fights carefully to keep his record perfect. If Tank fought real competition, people would see his weaknesses. This is definitely a fight to expose the truth. Bud wants to show the world that Tank isn't as unbeatable as everyone thinks.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
Bud Crawford has a different idea of what it means to be great. While Tank Davis might be happy with being undefeated, Crawford doesn't see that as enough. To him, being a true champion means facing the toughest opponents. Tank might be comfortable with his undefeated record, but that's not enough to prove greatness. But greatness is about challenging yourself against the best. If Tank really wants to be known as one of the greats, he has to fight him. He thinks Tank can't truly call himself a champion without taking on the challenge that Crawford represents.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
Experts think that Bud Crawford has a real chance of winning against Tank Davis. His skills and experience make him a serious threat. Even Tank himself admitted in an interview that facing Crawford would not be easy. One big advantage Crawford has is his long arms. His reach could make it hard for Tank to get close and land his big punches. This could give Crawford control of the fight and make things difficult for the Baltimore fighter. However, Tank is still confident in his abilities. He believes that his powerful punches will be the key to victory. Even with Crawford's reach, Tank thinks he can find a way to land his shots and prove that he is the better fighter.
Say he a challenge because he a vet.
Bud Crawford?
The only reason why I say a challenge because of his size. He a way bigger guy.
Even though this fight is just being talked about, the back and forth arguments on social media have made fans excited. People now want to see these two fighters step into the ring. The way they keep calling each other out has only made the hype even bigger. But there is one big problem. Tank and Crawford are in different weight classes. Tank usually fights at a much lower weight, while Crawford competes at 147 pounds. This makes it hard to set up a fair fight between them. Crawford has also made it clear that he has no plans to move down in weight. He is comfortable where he is and doesn't see a reason to change that. Unless Tank is willing to move up, this fight might never happen, no matter how much the fans want it. Even with all the challenges, there are rumors that this fight might still happen if Davis moves up in weight. Tank is already thinking about making the jump, which could make this matchup possible before the year ends. Crawford has made it clear that he doesn't like Tank. He doesn't respect the way Davis carries himself and thinks he's too arrogant. But sometimes bad blood between fighters makes a match even more exciting. When two fighters don't like each other, it pushes them to fight even harder.
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. That's like
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
I don't like nothing about him. I just feel like, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Even though the fight is not official yet, people are already making predictions about who will win. Keyshawn Davis, who has been a strong critic of Tank, has shared his thoughts on the matchup. He believes that Crawford will not just win, but will completely dominate the fight. Keyshawn went as far as saying that Crawford would knock out Tank. That's a big statement, especially since Tank is known for his power, but Keyshawn is confident in his pick and doesn't see the fight going any other way. When asked why he thinks Crawford will win so easily, Keyshawn had a simple answer. He said that Bud is a monster in the ring. Crawford's skills, power, and experience will be too much for Tank to handle, no matter how strong or fast he is.
Terence Crawford by knockout.
Why, Keyshawn?
Because he's a monster. He's an animal. He's dangerous. He's Terence Crawford. Now, he's a Aerosmith's a southpaw. I'm an orthodox, so I ain't sparring this camp.
We don't know for sure if Keyshawn's prediction is biased, but it's possible. After all, he and Tank have had their fair share of online arguments. When two fighters don't get along, their opinions about each other can sometimes be more about personal feelings than actual facts. Even if Keyshawn says he's being fair, some people might think he just doesn't like Tank. As for Bud, he understands that even if his fight with Davis happens this year, it won't be right away. There are a lot of fighters who want a shot at Tank, so Crawford will have to wait. He knows that big fights take time, and this one is no different. Right now, Davis has other opponents to focus on. On March 1st, he's set to fight Lamont Roach, a fighter with less experience than him. While Roach might not be the biggest name, every fight counts, and Tank will need to stay sharp if he wants to take on tougher opponents like Crawford later on. After his fight with Lamont Roach, rumors say that Davis might face Shakur Stevenson next. Crawford has shared his thoughts about this possible fight. He believes that Shakur Stevenson will defeat Davis. Crawford is confident that Shakur's skills and strategy will be too much for Tank to handle in a unification match. Of course, but I can't say I'm 100% confident because boxing is boxing. But I think my little brother is going to handle business there, said Crawford. Bud is hopeful that promoter Eddie Hearn can make the fight between Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis happen next. He believes this matchup would be a major event in boxing and wants to see it finalized soon. I think that's a great fight. I think that's a massive fight. If Eddie Hearn can pull that off, so be it. That's great for boxing, however. Hearn can't make this fight happen on his own. He'll need Turki Al-Sheikh to be interested, and that will likely depend on how Shakur performs in his upcoming fights. People think Crawford is only picking Shakur to beat Tank because they are close friends and have a similar fighting style. If that wasn't the case, he might not be so confident. Most boxing fans don't believe Stevenson can defeat Davis. They see him as a dull fighter who only faces weaker opponents, but still calls out Tank. Shakur has been fighting in the lightweight division since 2023. Even though he has skills, many believe he hasn't proven himself against the best yet. While he keeps asking for a fight with Davis, some argue that he should first face tougher competition before stepping into the ring with an undefeated champion. It looks like Bud will have to wait until Shakur and Davis settle their fight before he gets his chance against Tank. However, he isn't in a rush. As he has said many times, he is the true definition of greatness, and greatness doesn't need to chase anyone. If anyone should be in a hurry, it's Tank. Bud believes Davis has been carefully choosing less experienced opponents just to keep his undefeated record intact. Instead of proving himself against the best, Tank has taken fights that are safe rather than risky. But what about you? What are your thoughts on this? Please let me know in the comments down below.